By popular request, we are going to be covering my really interesting. We're going to be talking about the NetBet version of this that I played at locals and some of the interactions and things that I'm starting to see with Despia so far. Let's dig on into our fifth place, shall we? Don't beg the 30% of you guys have not smashed the living crap out of that subscribe button. Smash it so we can get further into 100k here. So we're going to be looking at our current build for Despia. We were playing the top 16 or top 32 Pagoda list. It's one of the two. I wanted to take it for a test run because I liked cutting the DPE package from the deck feels a lot better. Even though I do like DP in the deck, I also like having a smaller amount of cards in the deck versus the builds that are like expanding out larger numbers. I'm also not like a huge fan of like playing the Frightfur package in the deck, and I also want to play the Adventure package. Those are all things that I personally want to include in the deck, so testing out this build was by far probably the best choice. So we're playing 2 Aluber. In the build with the Adventure stuff, you get away with playing 2 of these because you have branded opening to maximize those numbers. The thing, I mean, also like having the 3rd Aluber and like the turn that you have the Rite of Armesia, this just reduces your dead draws to maximum extent. So this is what I want to be playing because of the Brave package. Now I'm also playing Double Fallen of Albaz. People that try to play 1 Albaz are crazy in my opinion. You want to be able to see this, and if your opponent interferes with like a fusion summon or does something to like try to shove like the Albaz back into the deck or something on the Lubellion, you just get punished. And like if you have to go into an Albion turn, you also just get punished for not having the extra of that. So that's the other thing to keep in mind with like the double Albaz, especially with Lunatis coming out here in a couple weeks. Yeah, so I'm sticking with 2 of this. Also Double Tragedy. This is also pretty standardized at this point. Same thing with the people that are trying to play 1 Tragedy. I think you're crazy. In like all the early playtesting and stuff that I did, 2 was always a thing. There was never a time that I didn't want to see this at full capacity. So yes, this is fine. I'm only playing 1 Ad Blidium. I do know there was very few builds that were trying to mess around with double of this. I think, once again, that's also crazy. 1 Ad Lib is fine. I guess for like the grindier games, that's going to be the point that you're going to want to see more of these, but I think 1 is fine. Cutting the DP package does take away some of the deck's grind game. I will say that. We have triple Water Enchantress. This is all very standard. Since we did cut back on Ad Blidium, I did leave this at the higher number. I did think about cutting this down. I did find myself setting on a Rite of Armesia a lot because, I mean, you have searchers for this, alright? The other important thing is this can bait a hand trap for you so you can do your branded plays. Like, that's what you do kind of value that. And then we have 1 copy of Griffon Rider here. So that wraps up that. Our hand traps. Triple Ash. This card is very, very high impact right now. Getting to stop a key search literally will just lock you down a free game. Alright? Double Ghost Ogre. I'm a little bit indifferent about this. The main purpose is this does stop the Faithful Adventure from spinning out of control and ruining your day. And like that's the big thing about this. But unfortunately, getting chain blocked in your other matchups, this card is just terrible at certain points, but it's fine. We have double Ghost Bell. I kind of want to cut the Ogre to 1, and I kind of want to, like, the bells are good, don't get me wrong. It's just, I don't know, every scenario that this came up, I'd rather just side this out for something better. I didn't run into a lot of branded. I played 1 branded mirror match, and Super Poly Mirror Jade took care of everything that I needed to do, and the other 95% of the time I just got annoyed with this. Then we have 1 Effect Veiler wrapping this up. This is a fantastic crossout designator target. Let me tell you what. Also seeing this as a 1 of can get the game back in your favor relatively quickly. Spells. We have triple Rite of Armesia. As I said, I did find myself siding out 1 of these a lot. This card is actually nuts. Like, this whole engine is so stupid good. We play the 1 Faithful Adventure. You're not doing anything crazy to warrant playing more than 1. We have 1 Draco back for bouncing any sort of resource away from the opponent that would be detrimental to your gameplay. Also gives you your token protection. Easy stuff. Also free discard fodder for Lubellion. We have Tribble of the Branded Fusion. This card makes the whole world go round for this deck. This is the heart and soul of this deck. The fact that this card exists gives this deck the ability to function. Also, the Eldritch variant is really, really good with this. We have triple branded opening. This is what allows us to play double Luber. This also gives you a protection clause for your fusion monsters, because people don't know that. A little bit of a fun fact there. Yu-Gi-Oh! Players have a very hard time reading at the end of the day, so this is something else entirely. Also, best starter for the deck. 2 copies of Branded in red. Getting the Chimera pop during the opponent's turn is so stupidly powerful. Also, 3 of this can come in handy. I was thinking about wanting to play it, but I feel like in the other scenarios that you do see it, it just becomes a little bit more dead. If you have to burn through these very early in the game, you're going to have problems, but that's the only real point that you're going to have an issue with it. Just 2 crossouts. I don't want to play 3 in this deck. I feel like 3 becomes a dead draw. And the reason why I don't want to play 3 is because we do have the Called by the Grave. So you're technically having 3 outs present for this. Also because we're playing Called by the Grave, you have to play the extended out hand trap lineup, like the Bells and things like that. Nibiru doesn't hurt this deck at all, so you don't have to worry about playing Nibiru. But these are going to be your key points to really see. Thank you, hand traps. We have Triple Prosperity, of course. You typically will do 3 or, well, 6 doesn't come up crazily all that much. It depends on how bad your hand is. This is your resource creation card, and you gotta make your decisions based on how your hand is with that. And then we are playing Triple Imperm to wrap up the main deck. Imperm is really solid right now. So that is the main deck. Down here in the extra deck, we have 2 Lubellions. You're not playing less than this. Alright, this sometimes can be a prosperity target if you think you can get away playing 1 for the rest of the game, which, kudos to you if you can get away with. We're on double Mirror Jade. I have not had a scenario where I would want more than 1 or more than 2 of these, honestly. I think that this is fine in terms of what you want the deck to do. And then we have 2 Combo Breakers. This is the card that tears apart the opponent's board. This is the interaction point for the opponent's turn that makes the deck the best that it ever could be. Alright, getting multiple pops, draws. This does everything that makes this deck the menace that it is. 2 Albions. I don't think that I ever want to play 3. I do understand, like, the later game that this comes up more, and, like, you know, banishing it off the Mirror Jade to get the free pluses so that you can reset up the fusions is really good. But 2 has worked out relatively fine. I don't see a reason to change that. 1 Masquerade. Oh my god, I made this against a DDD player, and he was at like 2,000 life points by the end of his turn. So I just had to attack over something and clear the game. This card is so good. 1 Titaniclad. I guess you could cut this for the Albion, but like I like having the ability to dump this as an additional target for our guy. We'll play 1 Proskinian. You know, in the games that this comes up, this card is nuts, honestly. We have 1 Quadartus for huge board wipes / being the light and dark target. 1 Dragostapelia, the best super poly target this deck could ever have. And then we have 1 Link Spider for when we gotta make the Verti Anaconda machine. This is for when things go horribly, horribly wrong. Honestly. Side deck here, Triple Token Collector. Our Sword Soul matchup is Poo Poo, because they have anti-spell fragrances and all the other good cards in the world. Trust me, you want those. Our Zombie World package, so we can drop it off the Necro, or drop it off of the Branded Fusion, so you can set this up so Flunder can't play the game. We have Triple Super Poly for board breaking. This makes the mirror match way more tolerable. Thank you, Dragostapelia. We have Triple Twin Twisters for board breaking. Card is also really good. We have triple copies of There Can Only Be One, so we can punish the matchups that we need this for. And then we have 1 copy Red Reboot. I actually drew this against the Eldritch player and won the game because of it. Being able to Red Reboot them, clear their field, is pretty good, to be honest with you. So that wraps up our take on, well, and nothing's really changed between this and the list. I just want to give my explanations in terms of, playing this build. I am a huge fan of the ratios minus, what I talked about in between like the ogres and the bells, but that's going to be like very dependent on, my format going forward here and how the rest of this deck will shape up. So that is our take on Albaz for now. So what do you guys think? Please leave a comment down below. Tell me what you guys think. Make sure you smash the subscribe button. And yeah, 5th place out of 20. I was the lowest X1. It sucks so bad. I lost to my friend who ended up getting 11th at the regional, who finished 7-2, which just stinks because he was 7-1 going into the last round. But sometimes Yu-Gi-Oh happens. All right, I'll see your beautiful faces back at the end of the day, guys. Peace out. Patrons, thank you.
Thank you so much for watching. Check out these other videos.